Compensation. Agencies shall be entitled to 80% of the revenue, 80, generated from all accounts created by the model.
Hello, my name is Catherine Studley with The Only Consultant. I'm from Houston, Texas, and this is Not Your Lawyer.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me.
You
Excited
have,
to be here.
Catherine, so happy to have you on. Your business is fascinating. So you guys, or gals, I should say, are doing tax preparation, tax assistance, tax planning for the OnlyFans industry.
Yes, OnlyFans and beyond.
Talk about that.
Yeah, so my initial concept of this business was to do tax preparation for OnlyFans, for content creators. And we've since expanded to exotic dancers, you know, sugar babies, and really any other 1099 contractor that's looking for a non-traditional tax
I'll stop you right there. Sugar babies are reported income? That's tenuous.
It's a big discussion.
Let's talk about it.
Let's
you've got my interest. So sugar babies, let's talk about it. So someone comes to you.
Yeah. So
it's me. Let's say it's me. Let's say it's not, but let's say I have a attractive older man. He's into me.
Sure.
He's giving me money to hang out, right?
Right.
There's no contract. And they're reporting that.
Not always, but it depends on your agreement. And it depends on how they're explaining their business to me as well. So if you have the same sugar daddy that's paying you $5,000 the third Saturday of every month to go out for a weekend with him, and these are the terms, kind of seems like income, kind of seems like a business.
It does. Yeah.
Right. So
hard to explain otherwise.
Hard to explain otherwise. And a lot of times they're getting the payments through Zelle or PayPal or Venmo, ACH. So there's also a digital trail. It's hitting the bank statements. If it was cash, it would still be taxable. But definitely if it's hitting the bank statements. So again, it's case by case. Like also I have some clients who like, you know, some guy gives them $3,000 one time and it's to go shopping, get their nails and their hair done. Say, okay, that's likely a gift. Like you could argue that's a gift. But if you're getting recurring income, you know, thousands of dollars, I've seen up to $500,000. I've seen girls be purchased homes.
Wow.
Have their student loans paid off, have cars purchased for them. They have a credit card in their sugar daddy's name, and their sugar daddy is actually 1099ing them from his business.
I chose the wrong profession.
It's not too late.
If you are a sugar daddy and you want a date with a man who is a great conversationalist, you know, we have great dinner, and then, you know, okay. So are you seeing contracts? So let's talk about a house. Is this just like they'll purchase a property and then sign it over? Is there a purchase agreement, rent to own? What is it, a mixture? What are you seeing?
I'm seeing a mixture. I've only seen one house, so it's not like I see a house all the time. And I told her it was taxable and she ghosted me, so it wasn't.
And I've had in my lifetime, I've had 2 strippers ask me for advice on a similar situation of someone that wanted to gift them a house for reasons.
Right. Definitely big assets being gifted.
Yeah.
And it's over, you know, there's like, everyone gets excited over the $16,000 gift exclusion.
Yes.
And if it's over that, then it would be taxable to the donor, which would be the sugar daddy.
Yeah. And that's hard for them to explain to their wife's lawyer's accountant during the divorce. Yeah.
There's a lot of that.
A lot of forensic accounting going on.
Lots of that. I'm just the messenger.
So it sounds like you've got a very fast-paced and interesting business going on. So let's talk about some of the highlights. So, you know, you've got a girl that was working as like a Chili's waitress like a year ago, and now she's making $250,000 a year. And, you know, maybe she's just seen her first tax bill come through, or maybe it's about to come through. They come to you. Tell me, I guess, like one of the biggest wins that you've had so far in being able to help some of these people get educated and get the assistance they need.
Yeah, I mean, just every conversation that I have where someone is finally understanding how their taxes work is a small win. If you understand what a 1099 is now, if you understand how business expenses work, you know, like, so there's small wins in these conversations that I'm having every day with clients. Huge wins, like we amended a client's tax return who earned $250,000 on her OnlyFans 1099. She only had $6,000 in expenses. So then we were able to go back and amend that. So
what are the top 3 things for an OnlyFans model, contractor, entrepreneur? What are the top 3 things that they don't claim that they should?
Depends on your business. Do you mean claim as a deduction, as a business expense? Health insurance, everyone forgets about that. If you're a 1099 contractor and you can't get your health insurance through W-2, so that's one of the first things I always tell people. Beyond that, all the production equipment is a write-off. Paid promo, that's one that people miss as well. People are doing paid shout out for shout outs. That's considered an expense. They're often surprised to find out what they pay their assistants and managers are also a write-off, because I don't think anyone really thinks about those tax implications.
Yeah.
And then there's a lot of nuances too. So you can write off makeup only if it's used in content creation. You can write off costumes to an extent, like lingeries and bikinis and toys, but not like your mini skirts, because you could wear it in your day-to-day life. So
if I want to film a video where I'm the CEO, the lady boss video, it's like, well, you could also use that to be a lady boss in real life, so that doesn't count.
Exactly.
Got to be crotchless, I guess.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, it has to be very niche specific, which takes a lot of very honest, open, and authentic conversations with my client base to understand how they're exactly earning their income and what genre they're in under the OnlyFans umbrella.
Tell me about the biggest like savings or the biggest win that you've been able to create for a client that came to you.
I mean, we're setting up a lot of clients on S corps too, which is huge. So we saved one girl, I think, $95,000 just by setting up an S corp and having it be in California, which was huge.
Wow, incredibly valuable. Yeah,
huge. You know, yeah. I mean,
okay, no, that's fine.
I'm trying to think of any other huge wins.
That's okay. I'm lobbing softballs, right? I'm just trying. This is trying to be as pro sales for you as possible. Also, I think it's just genuinely interesting so far. Okay, I want to get into the dark side, the digital pimping. Let's talk about that, and then we talk about the contracts and stuff.
There's a lot to discuss.
Yeah. So, one of the things I think is really awesome is you're a woman-owned business, right? Say what you will about pornography and OnlyFans, and everyone's entitled to their opinion. I think it's fascinating regardless of what side you're on. But we've seen women become owners in a way that they weren't able to be in the 60s, 70s, 80s. You had these centralized studios that took all the money in from porn, and the actors and actresses, everybody that was participating in it, they didn't own the rights to their images or anything. So now that you've been exposed to hundreds and hundreds of people in this industry, let's talk about some of the dark sides, right? Like the pitfalls. So have you seen predatory behavior that these girls are falling prey to?
Yeah, definitely. This is mostly for OnlyFans content creators. A lot of these girls are ending up in very exploitative contracts with their managers or their managers. There are a lot of very legit OnlyFans agencies. On one side, my highest earners that are making hundreds of thousands a month are using legitimate agencies, and that's working for them.
Yeah.
But on the other side, I have, a handful of clients that are in contracts where the manager owns all of their content in perpetuity, and they have to tip them 80% of their income that comes in that's after OnlyFans cut.
Yeah.
So
incredibly predatory.
Yeah, perhaps she grossed $125,000 and she's making $5 now.
Wow.
And a lot of times they'll hunt for fitness influencers or influencers that already have tens of thousands of followers and say, hey, do you want to make an OnlyFans? I can manage it for you. Girl says, wow, this is great. I'm making no money right now. Even if I make $20K, it's a huge win. And then, I see them at the end of the year and I'm like, you understand you have to pay, you paid him $100,000. Like, we can take this as an expense, but this doesn't help you at all.
I mean, I'm hearing literally like digital pimping. Like
it's literally digital pimping.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's not how it's being viewed in a lot of ways.
Yeah. And there's a stigma that's attached to being in the adult industry. There's a stigma that's attached to doing pornography, which is crazy. I do comedy. And so I'm around a lot of people that are on the fringes of society. Like strippers and comedians they hang out in a lot of the same places. And it's crazy in that everyone will laugh at a comedy special where a comedian's talking about like drug use, and everyone will go home and they'll watch porn. And yet they'll still treat the same person that they're consuming the content of like a pariah, right? They're an outcast. They're not allowed to talk about their needs. So it's crazy that we've seen the rise of OnlyFans and absolutely blow up, but there isn't really a rise of education for the creators. There isn't really the Only Consultant seems like such a great time and place in history to be coming in.
Yeah.
It's just a compliment. That wasn't really a question, but interact with
I appreciate it. I'll take it.
You're great. Why are you so great?
Thank you so much.
Why are you what women need?
Every day. But yeah, I mean, it's a basic human right. Understanding your taxes, filing your taxes, set the foundation for everything else that you're going to do. If you want to get a credit card, if you want to get a mortgage, anything else. And if you're never taught about that, and you don't have the tools to do that, it's going to affect your life. And so many of my clients say that other accountants turn them away because no one even wants to deal with it. Or they're extremely uncomfortable to have the conversation with a traditional accountant. Because if we have to get into the nitty gritty of your taxes, if you're a dominatrix, are you going to tell your accountant that you're writing off your lube and your latex? I don't know.
Should.
You know what I mean?
You should, yeah.
That's what I mean. But I try to create like a very just safe and judgment-free environment. We can just have an open conversation.
Yeah.
Get everything taken care of.
Well, if I ever start selling feet pics, you're going to be the first call
Please.
that I make. Yeah. Sugar daddies out there. Got some 12.5s for you.
Hit 'em up.
Okay. So as a lawyer, I'm super interested in one thing that you said. I mean, I'm interested in everything you're doing, but there's one thing that sticks out to me. Can I look at one of these digital pimp contracts that are trying to basically create modern day slavery? I think that it'd be cool if we could maybe break that down and talk about it.
Yeah, I don't have it on me.
Okay.
Like, I mean, I need my phone.
Could you pull it up?
Yeah. All right. Here's this contract. Can I legally show you this? I guess.
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
Yeah.
Because you're an attorney?
Yeah. Blank company management agreement between a performer and an LLC. Wow. First thing that has me concerned, it says, whereas the model desires to appoint blank enterprises as its agent for the purposes of increasing exposure. Yeah, agency is a big deal. Like when you say someone's going to be my agent, they're going to act on my behalf. They're going to have the capacity to enter into business dealings for me. We've already made a video on this channel about power of attorney and all of the different types of power of attorney. And agency is one of those things that falls under it. So I would always be incredibly careful before I gave someone agency unless it was absolutely necessary. So the first red flag is triggered. It's a 7-month agreement. Okay. That's not really that scary in and of itself. Really broad on what the powers of agency are. It just says to act as an agent. Why is it scary that it's broad? Well, because an agent can potentially operate a bank account for you. An agent could potentially enter into a contract on your behalf. You want to narrow down what the powers of agency are. You don't want to just say, oh, this person's my agent. They have the authority to act on my behalf. Oh, yeah, they can pick up your prescription for you. They can order the hospital to pull the plug on you when you're in a car accident. You really want to enumerate on it. The agent shall use reasonable efforts to secure subscribers. Doesn't say anything about how many subscribers or what percentages. Just they're going to try. It just says, hey, I'm your agent and I'm going to try. That's what we're in so far, 5 sections in. The model must record videos and pictures to put on OnlyFans, TikTok, Twitter, Snapchat. Seems pretty standard. The model's responsibilities include accepting all consequences of publishing lewd content on the internet. So they're just completely saying if you get in trouble, it's on you, not us. Let's see how much of the benefit they get. Oh, compensation. Agencies shall be entitled to 80% of the revenue, 80, generated from all accounts created by the model.
It's a lot. That's after the platform's cut. So it's after the 20% that OnlyFans takes. Then they're taking 80 off of that.
Someone math that for me. What is 80% of 80?
Not good.
Man, like 16 and a half. The YouTube comment section that has infinite time will be like, that's clearly wrong.
Sorry, it's 6.
6?
And a half.
6.5? That's not right.
What'd you say?
What is 20% of 80?
Oh, 20% of 80? 20, 40.
So that's all she's keeping.
16?
So out of the 80,000 she would make.
She's keeping the 16. Yeah, I was like, hey, internet. Look at that. Ha ha.
But then there's more expenses after that. You know what I mean? So it's not that's not her profit. This is just where
and they're not
the baseline
even
starts.
They're not even taking they don't even cover the expenses in that agreement. Wow. I guess this is really predatory because they're saying that the model's responsible for recording the videos. And I would assume the costs are on that. So what is the agency even claiming to do here?
Probably doing chatting, probably messaging, probably giving her some direction in her social media. She told me that this is motivating to her to be in a contract.
Both parties agree that all accounts created by agent for the model will be owned by agent and continue post-termination. This is criminal. This is so it's a 7-month deal where I get all the money, and then at the end of the 7 months, you don't even own your own nudes. You don't, but if the channel gets criminal sanctions or something, that's all on you. This is like theft and slavery and.
But at what point does it become trafficking? Because if they're owning the accounts that have her, well, I guess it has to do with money to make it trafficking.
I'm going to be honest and say that I'm not an expert on the definition of trafficking. And I really need to reread Sefsafasta, but there are, I just want to finish this. So this is I've already seen enough to feel like that's the worst contract I've ever seen in my entire life. And you said you have more like those that you've seen. Yeah.
Unfortunately, yeah.
So I would just like to throw this out there to the internet. If you're an OnlyFans creator that's watching this and you'd like some, free look, free consult, happy to help with that. It's not, contracts is actually an area that is one of my specialties. There's very few areas that I go like, yeah, I'm an expert on this. And like contracts is something that I'm very, very strong on. Sex trafficking laws, sex FOSTA and stuff. That's not something that comes up in my day to day, but I will tell you right now, I don't care what that contract says. They've committed hypocrisy in that they can't own the accounts and be responsible for the accounts and not have responsibility. This is why, so many of the porn sites like Pornhub were kicking creators off that didn't have verification, because when FOSTA came out, they were even interpreting the new regulations to say, if you're hosting someone else's account, someone else's channel, you're giving them a platform, you could be tried under those trafficking charges. So that's why they kicked all the creators off that weren't doing ID and verification, and then you had to be able to come back on and post new videos. So yeah, their even understanding of the law is not good. Like, not only is it a predatory contract, it's not like a predatory well-written contract. It's just a predatory piece of paper that's probably, voidable or void.
I was going to say, can you uphold this? Like, how she just signed this and she wants to get out. I actually haven't addressed this with her.
I think she could. I mean, I would like to read it with more time, but my initial impression of that is that it's unenforceable, that it's voidable, it's apprehensible. Morally, it's bad.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think she can get out of it pretty easily.
Excellent.
Yeah.
She'll be happy to hear that.
In fact, what I would like to do, my move would be to completely cut ties with them and then send them a fuck off letter and be like, we're going to do whatever we want. You're not going to sue us, because if you sue us, we're going to immediately countersue and get all the discovery of all of the horrible contracts and FOSTA violations that you've done. And so you can go fuck right off. That would be the letter that I would send.
All right. We should organize that. Let's coordinate.
Yeah.
To make that happen, because I feel horrible. I can't help them. I don't know what to do. This is why
that's
I'm
easy.
trying
I
to
can do
build
that easy. Yeah, no,
relationships with other professionals.
The contract's not enforceable.
This is bigger than taxes. I started with just taxes, and everyone's calling me for everything that goes on.
Yeah,
and
that's what I was telling you earlier before we got on air. I think that you have a really large, broad, general opportunity here.
Yeah.
Such a crazy. It feels kind of like when you think about like the birth of Playboy, and how this company came from like a small magazine to like this nationally known brand. It feels like that's happening again independently, with all of these creators having their own stories. And it's so important to see people that are out here actually fighting for them, because there's no limit to people that are going to try to take advantage of them. So I guess what I would ask you to kind of close out is like, what's the single, biggest piece of advice that you would give to someone that's watching that is in the industry and is kind of having success now, and all these sharks are in the water?
I can only really give you advice as far as like taxes go.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I can't say, because I've never worked in the industry.
Yeah.
So I can only speak to what I am an expert in.
Sure.
I would say, as far as like, entrepreneurship goes and other industries, is know your own boundaries, first of all, just in business and beyond. From a finance perspective, the first thing you should do is to open up a separate bank account. If you're monetizing social media in any capacity, if you're earning cash or Zelle income, whatever, you should start a separate bank account for all of that income and take your expenses out of that account. That'll set the foundation for the foundation, which is filing your taxes. That's like the step one. This
stuff is serious business, and it's got a lot of ups, but also, as we talked, a lot of downs. As always, this channel is not your lawyer. If you want to find Catherine and The Only Consultant, you go to theonlyconsultant.com.
Yep.
We'll also have a link in the description. If you're dealing with any of the things that we talked about today, and you want a lawyer to just at least point you in the right direction, obviously some of the stuff's a little outside of my wheelhouse, but I know a lot of attorneys as well. Go to notyourlawyer.law or reach out to us at the number below. All right. Stay safe.